Early Morning, Chapter 27. A Miraculous Ladybug Fanfiction written and narrated by Mira, with artwork for the opening and thumbnail image by Cat Saturn Art on Instagram. I will have Cat Saturn linked in the description box. If you haven't heard the previous 26 chapters, you can find those linked in the description box as well. If you're still listening, comment Marinette's Hope. Please enjoy Early Morning, Chapter 27. Adrien Agreste, Paris, France, 2:15 p.m. Adrien stared at the text on his phone, phased but unable to react. The last time he'd brought Tikki to Marinette, it almost destroyed any semblance of a relationship they'd had at the time. What was she planning? Part of him, a place he'd tied beneath his ribcage months ago, started to flutter. What if she had an idea? What if she knew how to help? Adrien tried to catch the moth fluttering in his chest, protecting it from the glimmer of light his hope cast around inside him. No. It was better to stay on the safe side of his thoughts today, especially after what Ladybug wrote him. That she's sorry. That he needn't forgive her. But as upset as he was with Ladybug, the current Marinette didn't deserve the anger bubbling inside him. Adrien swallowed it, brushed his teeth, and went to the cabinet where the Ladybug Miraculous was stored. Tikki was inside there. She had to be. And no matter how he tried, Adrien was the one who couldn't wake her up. Thinking about it would only tear him apart. Instead, Adrien grabbed the little bug from her dusty home and retreated to the bakery, stopping by a cafe to pick up some boba as to not arrive exorbitantly early. A peach tea would do well today, wouldn't it?
Hello, my boy!
Adrien found himself swept into an embrace the moment he entered the Dupain-Cheng bakery, narrowly avoiding spilling his drinks over Tom Dupain. Marinette might not see it, but she got all her klutzy gene from her father. Still, the hug was nice, as was the energy he found himself welcomed with. "Hello, Tom," Adrien said, patting him on the forearm as a signal to let go. "My, it sure is nice to see you and Marinette being amicable again," Sabine commented, coming over to kiss his cheeks. Her implied comment wasn't lost on him. "It's amazing what a little time can do, isn't it?" he countered. "And a bit of perspective." "You know how she is when she makes up her mind. You can't change it, especially if it's about someone else. Still, it's nice to see you visiting without your mask on for a change." So they knew all along then, didn't they? And yet his father couldn't so much as... Adrien was entering dangerous thought territory again, thinking of how his father treated him and lack thereof would do him no good, especially when compared to the Dupain-Chengs. Like a needle embroidering canvas, Adrien felt a sharp pang of envy toward Marinette tugging through his heart. Marinette hated Ladybug because she woke up without her memories, but waking up without years of trauma to a family who loved you and friends who supported you didn't sound bad at all to him. If anything, it was a daydream. He'd never be able to voice it aloud to her, but sometimes seeing her complain of her problems, chalking it all up to one person's fault, was something he was jealous of. Especially when he would trade places with her in a heartbeat. "What am I smelling?" Adrien asked, looking around. They didn't usually make anything once the afternoon hit, being a bakery and all. "Galettes, Something about waking up her bug. Sabine waved a hand in the air. Go see for yourself, my dear. A pastry? He'd tried all sorts of cookies and sweets. What could possibly be different about a galette? Thanks. He made his way through the bakery and into the kitchen, finding Marinette flour-dusted and cursing at the oven as she rubbed her forehead. Some things never change, and hitting her head on the handle above the stove was one of them. Adrien found himself smiling at the familiarity of it all as he set the peach drink on the counter. Marinette. He greeted her with a wave, then pointed to the boba. Adrien! Hi! The way she turned to him, excited despite his mask being off, made it feel as if no time passed between them. Galettes? He questioned. It's what Ladybug told me to try. Where is she? Marinette bounced over, a mixing bowl propped on her thigh. Oh, here. Adrien felt around his jacket pocket, then pulled out the earring box. But don't get your hopes up. Just because everything you tried by yourself didn't work doesn't mean I won't be successful, she teased. Come on, take a seat. Have a bite. You... He cleared his throat, correcting himself. She was always the one with a plan. So she left you a letter too, I take it? I didn't find it until today, but yeah, she did. Marinette turned to the oven as she slid on a mitt. But if this idea doesn't work, it doesn't mean I'm gonna stop trying, you know? Yeah. Adrien studied the island countertop. I sure do. So, move back a little, please. As much as I don't like what she did to me, or, well, us. He leaned back as she set the galette on the countertop, filled with blueberries and browned like something out of a magazine. I'm still gonna listen to her suggestions. Offering an ancient little god her favorite pastry? Marinette looked across the island from him, winked, then thumbed the miraculous box. Spots on, she whispered. She held her smile for a moment as they stared at each other, with nothing happening between them. His heart fell as slowly as her expression, and Adrien realized he'd somehow gotten his hopes up with her. Marinette, he began, reaching for her hand. No, I'll just try again. Spots on. She brought the box to her chest. Spots on. Oh, this was going to be painful to watch, but Adrien knew better than anyone that she needed to go through this on her own terms. He sat there as she called for her Kwami, to the point of yelling and past the time for tears, before standing up and circling the counter to hold her from behind. Marinette, he repeated. That's enough. He'd seen her cry more times than he'd like to count over the years, both as a partner and as a friend, but something about this time cut deeper than before. Maybe it was the way she surrendered to him, wrapping her fingers around his forearms before hunching over the island. Maybe it was the way she turned into him, stifling her cries so her parents wouldn't walk in with concern. Maybe it was the way she turned to him, so undeserving, for comfort, when he was the one who couldn't figure out the solution in the first place. Maybe the reason why it hurt more to see her fail this time didn't matter. It just hurt, with no elaborations or justifications needed. I'm sorry, Marinette. Adrien pulled her off the kitchen island and into his arms. I'm sorry. Marinette didn't say anything in response. Instead, she returned his embrace, sobbing. Oh, Ladybug. What a mess you left behind.